you'll see something a little bit different. We've seen the American transports, but this one looks a heck of a lot cooler. This is day 2 at the Dubair Airshow, and today we're going to be looking at 2 Embraer aircraft. So first of all, we're going to jump onto this bad boy in its wonderful livery. Embraer always has the very best livery for these shows. Let's jump on board the E2 Profit Hunter. Now this one's going to be very different. It's a competitor to the Airbus A220. So this is the Embraer E195-E2, and E2 actually stands for the sort of second version of their concept cabin, and it's really quite fascinating. You can see that whilst it's relatively low and feels a little bit tight, it's actually highly efficient. With these seats all being only 29 inches, you feel like that might be a little bit suffocating, but it's actually got plenty of room, and I'll show you that just in a moment. So why does this aircraft exist? That's because there's a very lucrative regional market that Boeing and Airbus are both leaving on the table. This aircraft is designed to fill that need of regional routes, where, for example, a larger Boeing plane or a larger Airbus plane can't fill up their entire cabin, and therefore they're burning fuel with empty seats. This plane, however, can fill up completely and be far more efficient because of its smaller capacity. And you're probably wondering, why don't these passengers fly on a turboprop instead? Well, it turns out that a lot of people don't like propeller planes, and they don't like the vibrations and noise. That's why this jet seems modern, fast and efficient, and perfect for that market segment. So let's try out what this seat actually feels like, and you'll see that there's still plenty of legroom that my knees don't even touch, and there's still plenty of height, and it's actually quite cozy. And you'll notice as well with these giant windows, this aircraft has the widest windows of this entire product category. But it's not just here that's really interesting. We have to go to the front of the aircraft. So I'm now here in the business class cabin, where you'll see something a little bit different. This is an asynchronous business class seat. You'll see that I sit here and the other seat is actually several inches forward. And what this does is gives you the wide body experience in this narrow body jet. And this is probably as narrow as they come, because this is far more smaller than the 737 or the Airbus A320. And this is really quite an incredible amount of legroom. Like, the way that they have designed this is that it's just as efficient. In fact, you can pack in more business class seats, but it feels so much longer. Like, I can't even reach. You can see that my suit's starting to go to get to the front of this seat. And I suspect that with a little bit more engineering and designs by the seats, you could genuinely create an incredible, almost lie-flat experience coming all the way down. And that's something that I really want to try out. Now, this business class category is going to be flying in the air today, and it's going to be in Nigeria, and there's also another undisclosed customer where it's coming soon. So let me know, would you fly in this cabin? Does this tickle your fancy? So give me a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. Now we're going to check out the Embraer C390, which is a tactical transport aircraft, and I'm really excited to get inside of one of these, because we've seen the American transports, but this one looks a heck of a lot cooler. So we're going to start the tour actually at the back of the plane, where there's this giant cargo ramp, and this thing looks impressive. So this is incredibly roomy. You can already see the paratrooper lines, and there's 2 doors on either side, but this just looks great. Like, I've seen the American ones, and they're not held together by duct tape, but they definitely feel that. This has actually got this paneling, which is a lot nicer and a really quite impressive vertical space. And then you can see the seats that they're bolted into here. And I'm gonna see if I can get away with just having a sit down at the moment. And this is better than most low-cost carriers that I go on. There's at least plenty of legroom. But I am curious, if you've seen the running series on the other channel, just how many passengers we could fit in here, and I'm gonna find that out for you a little bit later. So we'll walk up here and have a look at the medical bunks that they've set up. So like a lot of the designs, you can see that they've got this sort of standard triple bunk layout, which is used for medical evacuations and also, perhaps if an army's withdrawing from a region or a disaster site to transport wounded people. But I also am curious if they utilize this for any sort of more longer flights. I think that's definitely something that would be very, very useful in many sort of use cases, but it doesn't look as comfortable as the ones I've seen elsewhere, but that's because it's a portable setup. So we do have to give them a little bit of salt.